Wow, what an incredible community this is, yes? As I said last time, I was here a couple of weeks ago, is pat yourselves on the back for being such a gathered and loving community, because it's rare, it's not that common to have that level of connectedness and givingness and willingness. I see the new right and perfect minister moving speedily towards you because of that energy and fulfilling everything that you set out to do in that affirmation that you've created for yourselves. So it's a wonderful thing. Okay, we're looking at the beauty, the mysticism, and the metaphysics of trees. A little different, isn't it, as a subject? And thank you for all the tie-ins. We've all these tree songs and these images of trees. And isn't it interesting how Daily Word talked about the natural world, too? It's all in divine order. I hadn't read Daily Word until today, and I didn't realize it was in such... Everybody loves trees, yeah? And you can't not love a tree. You know, there's the gradations of that. There's the tree huggers on the one hand that just love trees to death. And then there's the people who like trees as a nice backdrop to a party or whatever. But in general, we love trees. If humankind is at the apex of the animal world, then trees really are at the apex of the vegetable world, right? And we are symbiotically connected, humankind and trees. Think about it. They don't like oxygen particularly. We do. They love carbon dioxide. We don't. So perfect. Perfect balance. We're rushing around with our tails, going crazy half the time, whereas they don't go anywhere. They stay still. So with so much we can learn from trees because we're seemingly opposites and yet complementary. And I think it's in our blood, that we love trees because it goes back thousands of years, and I'll talk about that a little later in the talk. I read the other day there are 69,000 kinds of trees on the planet. Can you believe that? 69,000 kinds of trees. I mean, I know about 30 or 40 of them, but 69,000. So I want to ask, do you have a favorite tree? And if you do, call it out. What's your favorite tree? Maybe you got more than one. One? Aspen, yeah, aspen. So beautiful, especially this time of year, right? Magnolia, you sweet thing. Willow. What? Red oaks. Chinese pistachios. Oh, now we're drilling a little deeper here. That's cool. What? Royal. Oh, yeah, okay.
It's beautiful. It's got this beautiful red, sometimes purple.
Uh-huh, yeah. Yes, very nice. Thank you. Anyone else? Maples. You can't beat maples, can you? Palm trees. You got some beautiful trees in our area here, right? In our grounds. So I noticed in the beautiful sweet gum, and they turn a beautiful color at this time of year. My favorite tree is an oak, and I grew up with oaks in Wales where I grew up. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to leave the Wales and Great Britain and come to Texas. And of course, when I was a kid, I thought Texas was just tumbleweed and cactuses. That's what it was. Well, I was so pleased to get here and find out, no, we got all the cross timbers here. We have the oak, the black oak savanna. We've got all kinds of beautiful oak trees, whether it's a live oak or a red oak or a black jack or a post oak or chinkapin oak. Chinkapin oak's one of my favorites. So many oaks in this area, so I feel like I'm connected, just because in my backyard I have post oaks and blackjacks and red oaks. So what is it about trees then? I've got a few things here, and you can add to this if you like, but some things that attract us to trees. Number one, obviously they're beautiful, aren't they? They're majestic. They are lift up your soul, yeah? And often we don't notice them. We're rushing by. We don't notice that there's amazing trees. Like I said, there's an amazing oak out there. Did you notice it? You do? All right, good job. Because sometimes we don't notice what's right under our noses, right? The beauty that surrounds us. There's some amazing trees on I-20 as I drove in this morning. just on the side of the road, right? And we have to look after these because so often they're not appreciated and people come along and tear them down in the name of progress. So beauty, majesty. We need a little beauty and majesty right now in our lives, don't we? When we're torn down by all the worries that we have, all the divisiveness in our society, we need to go back to those things that are greater than the things that change, that come and go. And a tree reminds us of that ongoing majesty and beauty. That's the first thing. Second thing is they're useful for timber, for all kinds of beautiful wood. Anybody got a favorite wood? That's pretty nice, isn't it? What is it? It's a mesquite? Oh, it's a pine, is it? Yeah. Yeah. I love cherry wood. Black walnut. So there we go. We got hundreds of kinds of wood that are beautiful, right? But come out to a beautiful polish. So they're useful. The biodiversity. They provide biodiversity in our environment. And we're lucky, really, in Texas because everywhere you go, there's these forests, these urban forests, right? When I was a kid in Cardiff, there were parks and everything. Most everything else was built up because it was a dense environment. But we're lucky here because we have these urban forests. So even if you're in the middle of the city, it looks green. It looks like a forest from above, which is a great thing. We have to guard that and make sure that doesn't disappear. The trees are also mysterious because you just don't know what they're thinking. Question, do they really think? Yes, I think they do, right? They may not think in quite the way that we do, but they are thinking about things. They have consciousness, yes? And that is mysterious. And you're not going to, and I don't want to be a big tree hugger here and go woo-woo on everybody, but I do think that if we pay attention to them, we can hear what they are saying. I was my wife and I were in the Founders Grove in California, one of the redwood groves there, and all the trees are over at least 1,000 years old. And we were walking around it. It's a very holy place, holier than a cathedral, in my mind. And we were walking around there, and I had a palpable sense that they were speaking. They weren't speaking with an outer voice, but they were speaking to my soul. And their word was peace. Peace. So the message for those trees to me, and I'm sure to others who have been in that grove, was relax. Peace, be still. It's okay. All is well. So I like to think that most trees are saying this to us, because we're running around like our tails are cut off, like I said earlier, and a tree is saying, chill out, dude. I'm going to be here no matter what the weather, no matter what the storm, no matter what the date, no matter what is happening in your life, I'm here. I'm in my beauty. I'm expressing it regardless. And it changes through the seasons, yes, but the tree is there. So we get the variety, but we get the stability as well, that stillness. When I talked about doing a sermon on trees, one of my friends in Great Britain that I've known for like 50 years, he went to college with me, he came up with a poem, and so I told him, I'll read your poem in this message. So this is Simon Wood's poem on trees. It's a little depressing. But it's got a, sort of depressing. Listen, anyway. But what do the trees say? We needs must but eke out this miserable existence, else perish. Aye, the alternative drops like rain on this sparse piece of earth, which is soon done, washed away and gone. That's the depressing bit. But before we go, what else is there other than this bitter recognition? Look back amongst the straggling copse of letters struggling in this wasteland of existence. All right, some more depression. See the T's. They are trees. You can trust a tree. They are patient, silent, stirred only by the breeze. Perhaps they are the souls of people, or just trees. Perhaps they are more than we can ever say. Interesting, huh? open even in the midst of, oh my God, my miserable little life. But there's trees. There's this sense of stability. And of course, since we're all connected, right, deeply, every single being and creature on this planet is connected, then we are the trees as well. It's part of our consciousness. There's no separation. So we can have tree spirit. We have a tree growing in us right now, don't we? The spinal cord, right? If you're into Kundalini yoga, then that tree is moving in and through you right now, right? From the rootedness to the 1,000-petal lotus where we are connected to the Christ, right? So the tree is very much with us right now. So not to get despondent or anything and thrown off, come back to that center that is offered by the tree. 5, stillness. Again, we mentioned that earlier, but it's a valuable resource in difficult times to come to that stillness. So let's look at, or let's go on a journey through history, mythology, and world religions and see what they have to say about trees, right? By the way, I read something this morning by Hunter Thompson. Remember him, the writer? And he says it doesn't matter however many relationships you have, you're always alone. And it doesn't matter whether you're full of partying or with a loved one, you're basically always alone. And you have to come to terms with being alone. And I thought, I know what he's saying, because we are alone ultimately. We come in alone and we go out alone. But we are not alone, are we? I don't believe that. I don't believe that we're ever truly alone, because the connectedness between us is in consciousness, right? The body may be alone, we're distinct, but the energy, the love, and like we've expressed this morning, is our connection. So I don't believe that loneliness is true in that sense. Only if we choose to make it that way, right? Trees tell us something different. And there was a new book out recently that talked about, the secret life of plants, but now they've got the secret life of trees, where trees are connected to each other and communicate. Everything is connected, right? Everything comes together. The Druids, the Celts, the Norse, the Romans, the Greeks, all had sacred groves where they worshipped, right? And because they understood the power of going into those sacred groves. And some of these trees were thousands of years old, and they would worship there. And of course, what did the enemies do? The first thing that an enemy would do when it came into your country, it would chop down your sacred grove, because that was the way to control people, right? Take away the magic places, take away the special places, so that it becomes a boring landscape, right? And so the opposite of that is to honor trees and plant trees and make sure that we create that same sense of the numinous, of the spirit within everything that these ancient folks experienced. Modern churches, by the way, if you go to a cathedral or even a parish church with their arches, what are they doing? They are imitating they're imitating the branches of a tree. So when you're in a church or a cathedral, you're actually in a wood. Ever thought of that? Interesting, isn't it? So we're bringing the woods into a modern day structure because we want that connectedness to the organic. And anybody ever been to the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona? Anybody? He literally made trees in there, right? So they've got these big trunks and then all the leaves coming out. I love it.
Yeah, 100 feet in the air.
Right. Yeah, huge thing. But then that resonance, that remembrance that we are connected in that way, right? It's not just made of stone. It's stone that's been transformed into living, vibrating beauty. And that's us. We are cold little stones that have been transformed into beautiful, vibrating things. Have you ever felt cold as a stone? For me. No, nobody has. Let's move on. That was a silly one. We tried that, didn't work. Never mind. In the Norse tradition, there's Yggdrasil. You hit various angles, see what works, and then you move on. You know what I'm saying? This is an unusual sermon for me. I don't think I've ever done a whole sermon on trees before, so, bear with me here. There's in the north. There's the great the world ash tree, Yggdrasil, which is like the axis mundi. So a tree is almost like the center of the turning world. So just to contemplate a tree is to contemplate the movement of the universe around it. And the ancient peoples are very aware of this. So the microcosm and the macrocosm come together. You, as a tree yourself, as that symbolic tree, are the center of the universe, yes? And so am I. We are each centers of the universe. How can that be? Sounds mysterious, doesn't it? Sounds weird, but it's true, right? From the perspective of God, who is in every moment, in every place, all at once in fullness, we are the center, right? And so that's huge for you, isn't it? How important you are, right? You're not just one little drop in the ocean. No, you are actually the ocean, yeah? Because there's no distinction between one drop and another. We're all connected in that way to the larger whole. So how does that make you feel, though? What are you going to do as a result of knowing that? Nothing. Nice idea, but, whatever. No, but seriously, what are we going to do if we realize that we're at the center of our universe, the universe? We all are. Well, number one, I'm going to honor others because I recognize the Christ in them in a very real way, yeah?
Serve.
I'm going to serve, right, from the sense of empowerment that I have. We extend love, yes. Share the joy. And share the joy in myself, too. Send joy. My wife and I talk about those moments where you've done something stupid in the past and it comes back, that brain that you have keeps repeating it over and over. That might have happened 50 years ago, right? What a piece of worthless bunkum you were. Those kind of things. And then you have to replace that, though, immediately with the affirmation that that's not the truth of me. That's part of my little humanness. But it's not true of the magnificent tree of possibility that I am in truth. Yeah? Yeah? Yes. Amen. Question for you. In Judaism and Christianity, too, it says in the first couple of chapters of Genesis that in the Garden of Eden, in paradise, there were two trees. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and the tree of life. Oh no, I was going to ask you what they were, and I'm going to go get missed it. So what do they represent then? What is that saying that in the middle of the beauty of truth, in the perfect place, right? There is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and the tree of life. And we know that if metaphysically speaking, this Garden of Eden is not somewhere out in Turkey, it is within us, right? Within our own pure consciousness. So what does it mean that we have the knowledge of good and evil and life? Allness. You have discernment. You can sift what's right and wrong. You have that gift, right? To know the knowledge of what's good for you and what's bad for you. You have that, but you also have abundant life. And isn't our affirmation today? Abundance, right? Within us right now is that discernment to know what's true and the life that impels us to live an amazing few years on this planet. It's precious, right? It's beautiful. All through the Bible, they go to oaks and to other trees to pray, and cedars of Lebanon, etc. But Isaiah 11 says this: a shoot shall come out of the stump of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of its roots. And of course, Jesse was the father of David, and it's the beginning of the new dynasty of David. So what's this saying? A shoot shall come, metaphysics for us, a shoot shall come out of the stump of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of its roots. What does that mean for you today? Have you been living as a stump all week? Have you got a little beautiful shoot coming out? Take care of it and water it. Yeah. Whatever inkling of the good, water it. Right? Don't focus on all the stumps out there, all the things that have gone wrong. Water the good that you see, right? Because it will grow into a tree again if you allow it to, if you put your energy and focus in that direction. Christ was crucified on a tree. Yeah? Where's the symbolism there? That's powerful, isn't it? The crossing out of ego on the tree, the opening to the world, right? The opening to say, I of myself are not important. It's the spirit within me that is victorious. And it's the connectedness to the tree. It's saying, I'm willing to be crucified on this tree of life, on this tree of all possibility, right? So the Romans thought the tree was a tree of death, but in truth, it was a tree of life. It was a tree of transformative good. Revelation, the first letter to the church of Ephesus says, to everyone who overcomes, and this is about us again, to everyone who overcomes, I will give permission to eat from the tree of life that is in the paradise of God. There it is again, folks. Right? So what does it mean to overcome? To everyone who overcomes, what do I have to do? What am I going to do to overcome? Water yourself. Jump in a pot and water yourself. Choose to empower yourself, yes. Because you're worthy, right? You are the center of your universe. Claim it. He overcomes. I will give permission to eat of the tree of life. Not just to look at it. Not just to say, oh, that's a nice idea. But to partake of it, right? To eat of it. To take it into your whole being as my reality this week. Imagine if you could go from this place today and start eating of the tree of life. Whoa! Fired up. Energized. I used to say in my old church, cooking with gas. But this is so much more than gas. This is the whole life energy of the whole universe is flowing through us at any given time. I could get excited about this. In fact, I am. You know, in Islam, they're always going and talking about gardens. You know, we all know that when you die and go to paradise, there's 72 virgins, right? Well, great, but there's 72,000 trees as well in the garden. It's beautiful. So it's not just about the virgins, it's about the beauty and givingness and profusion of life. The Buddha, what did the Buddha do? He meditated under the Bodhi tree, the tree of wisdom, right? He sat under the fig tree, meditated until he became enlightened. And that Bodhi tree is in every single Buddhist temple and monastery and shrine, the whole world. First thing they do is plant a Bodhi tree, right? As a symbol of enlightenment. It's a symbol, again, of that blossoming of ourselves, right? The tree of wisdom is within you. The Buddha understood this. He decided that he was one with everything. When he became enlightened, there was nobody around for him to get excited to, you know. We all need an audience, you know. And he goes, well, wait a minute, this is no fun. I want to tell somebody about it. I'm enlightened. So what did he do? He just touched the earth. That was his first witness to his enlightenment. And I love that because even if there's nothing else going on in your life, touch the earth, right? Get in touch with this connectedness, this beauty, Mother Nature all around us. The trees blossoming, the flowers, the animals, the biodiversity of this incredible planet. Get in touch with that. They often say, take your shoes off, right? You're on holy ground. Anybody done this? It's called earthing. You just take your shoes off and walk out in the garden and whatnot. And it's very different, actually, because we're protected by our shoes. And so if you take your shoes off and go out somewhere, and it hurts sometimes if you're on gravel or whatever, but that's part of it. You know, you're enjoying things. You're connected. So often we're cocooned from experiencing something viscerally because we're too sophisticated. Kids know this. They go out and do crazy things because they're still connected. So it's good to become like a little child, yeah? Will you do that this week? Will you take your shoes off and walk in the backyard just for a minute? Yes. I promise you won't get hookworm or anything like that. Or step on a scorpion. My late wife walked across our yard one time and went, ow! She hit a scorpion and it hurt. And she was doing this barefoot thing. So can't promise it'll always work out perfectly, folks. Can't promise that. Shinto, if you ever go to Japan, go to the Shinto temples, you'll see all these huge, huge trees, right? Because they honor trees. In fact, they put red sashes around them. They honor them so much. They are sacred to that particular tradition. In Hinduism, the same. You know, you'll see gurus go out into the forest and meditate. That's how they become enlightened. Go to the mountain or go into the forest because they're connecting to nature. And in Hinduism, of course, they have the sacred banyan tree. That's their symbol. The banyan tree is different. You know, it's that tree that has all the roots going, the branches and roots going down into the ground from above. And in the symbolism of Hinduism, it's the root is up in heaven and the branches come down to earth rather than the other way around. But again, it's the connectedness, isn't it, we're talking about? Microcosm, macrocosm, everything connected. Similar to the tree of life in Kabbalah, where you have the Sephiroth coming down, all the qualities within our souls, coming down from the emptiness, the magnificence of God, down into actuality. And where is the tree of life, actually? It's in us, isn't it? It's coming down from the infinite down into manifestation. This is how awesome we are. This is how awesome God creates the universe, folks. It's fantastic stuff, isn't it? We're not going to settle for anything less than this once we know that there is all this beauty and magnificence available to us on a daily, momently basis, yeah? In Native American and animist traditions and African traditions, again, the tree figures very highly, yeah? Because, again, they understand the connectedness. Modern literature, anybody read Lord of the Rings? Oh, yeah. Well, there's all kinds of trees. Yeah, pretty cool, isn't it? There's all kinds of trees there. You know, go to the elves. They hang out in these beautiful groves of trees in Lothlorien. There's weird forests called Mirkwood, but there's also walking trees. Yeah, the ants. There we go. And that's a big tradition in fairy tale. Trees moving, which we don't expect, right? And they only move when there's a disaster happening, and then they get going to serve humankind. But I love that idea that eventually there's a time when things change. There's a transformation. Maybe we become still and the trees move, you know? It's the idea that we can learn in many different ways. What about my favorite fairy tale, Jack and the Beanstalk? He had 5 little measly beans, right, that his wife, or was it his mother, cursed him for. You know, you just sell the cow for a couple of beans? What the heck you doing? But they were beans of possibility. They were seeds of possibility that only he saw at the time, right? And he planted them, and what happened? Whoa! A huge tree. And on the tree, of course, he climbed up it and he found the golden eggs and all this stuff. He found abundance again because he dared to dream. He dared to realize that he wasn't just in an ordinary place. He was in a place of infinite possibility. Why are some people happy and some people sad? Why do some people succeed and other people live miserable lives? It's not because of circumstance. It's ultimately because of choice, right? We choose to live a miserable or a remarkable life. And you have to choose today. What's it going to be? You know, we're going to say, oh, well, I choose a remarkable life because I'm in unity and that's what I do. But do you? See, because there's all kinds of old tapes playing that can drag us down. I've been a minister for 38 years. I've been in unity for 50 years almost. And I still get that down feeling, that depression about things. So you always have to be guarding your consciousness here, yes? So that you're moving in the right direction. So you're watering what is blossoming, what is coming out from the stump. I refuse to be a stump. How about we affirm that today? I refuse to be a stump. I am a glorious tree of all possibility. I am a glorious tree of all possibility. So, okay, 4 things we can do. One. Will you do this for me this week? Maybe. Okay, maybe. Depends what he's got here. I don't know, Now, consciously enjoy trees. That can't be too hard. Find a tree you haven't noticed for a while and enjoy it and say thanks for it, right? Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? I'm going to say hello to the sweet gum. And that beautiful pine that you got right next to the sweet gum. Gorgeous tree. That's number one. Two, honor them and protect them from broccolizing. This is my pet peeve. All the tree services that come in, they broccolize trees. You know what I'm saying? They take all the bottom branches and they keep going. So you got this long stalk with a little thing on the top, That's not a tree, folks. That's been broccolized. Let's stop the broccolization, is what I say. Stop the broccolization. Return to real trees again. 3, listen to them. It takes more than just appreciation, right? Appreciate them, but then stop and listen. Maybe they have something to tell you. And again, I'm not saying go woo-woo on this, like I'm listening to trees now. It's more profound than that. It means pay attention. Pay attention to what that particular living life form can give to you this week. And then understand from that everything actually speaks to us. Because once we start listening, we notice that we listen to almost everything. Everything has a lesson to us, even a shadow in a corner, right? Because God has imbued wisdom and knowledge into every single thing, however insignificant it may seem. So everything is everything. Everything can teach us. Everything can bring us to a greater understanding and wonder. I want to finish with Revelation 22, the last chapter of the Bible. And it says this: Then the angel showed me the river of the water of life. There it is again, keeps showing up. The river of the water of life, bright as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and the Lamb. Now get this, through the middle of the street of the city. Right down I-20, right up Bowen. It's doing it. This is not a nice idea in a church or in my meditation time or whether I'm feeling good or I've smoked a little too much and I'm seeing all good things everywhere. This is for right now, wherever we are. I love it. Flowing directly from the throne of all perfection through the middle of the street of God. Right in my business. That's what it's saying. This stuff is right in my business right now, whatever I'm doing. And if I don't bring it in, if I'm not aware of it, don't notice it, I'm missing out on all kinds of possibility. So remember, it's right in my street. It's coming down my street right now. On either side of the river of life, which is in the street of your life, is the tree of life. This is the Bible, folks, and it's 12 kinds of fruit, producing its fruit each month. What's that tell you? There's enough for every month of the year for you, right? Perfect. Each tree has a fruit for each particular season of your life, right? So what might not work one day, it'll work another day because it's all in divine order. Producing its fruit each month, and the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. Oh, I love the poetry of that, yeah? The leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. When I focus on the beauty and majesty of that beautiful leaf and the beautiful colors this time of year, then I feel healed. And if I feel healed, then I begin to extend that healing into my world. And I am transformed, and my world is transformed. So there you go. That's the beauty, the mysticism, and the metaphysics of trees. Amen.